Who is the best left back of the Premier League era? Nigel Winterburn, Leighton Baines, Graham Lasso, Patrice Evra, Andrew Robertson, John Arnorisa? How about Ashley Cole? Now, while the Englishman may not have won any personality contests or Flavour of the Month awards, he won everything else that was on offer, multiple times, during an astonishing career. In this video, we're going to take a look at the controversial, polarising and thrilling story of Ashley Cole, perhaps the greatest left back to ever grace the English Premier League. On the 14th of May 2000, a 19-year-old Ashley Cole made his Premier League debut for Arsenal, the team he had loved and supported all his life. It was the final day of a season where Ashley had been initially loaned out to Crystal Palace, where he impressed in the First Division. Come the following season, regular first-team action in the Premier League was still hard to come by for the young left-back. However, he was given the opportunity to strut his stuff in the continental competition, starting every single match of the Gunners' run to the Champions League quarter-final. He certainly caught the eye, with some energetic and entertaining performances in the competition. What really made people sit up and notice was, first of all, his electric pace and fearless willingness to attack, always looking to play 1-2s or offer himself as an option to his teammates on the overlap. He also showed himself to be assured defensively and played with a relentless aggression. If he lost the ball high up the field, his first thought was to press and harass the opposition until he won it back. Of course, as a young player, he could be a little positionally naive, as well as his attacking exuberance leaving the team exposed at times. In February 2001, an injury to Wenger's first choice left back Silvinho gave Cole the opportunity to stake a claim for the position, which he did, as he apparently impressed the gaffer so much with his attacking threat and generally assured defending that he continued to pick the young talent even after Silvinho regained fitness. The season was overall a disappointing one for Arsenal, as they finished 10 points behind Man United in second place and fell to a 2-1 defeat to Liverpool in the FA Cup final. The following season, Arsenal and Cole would find themselves in a topsy-turvy and tense tussle for the title, with Man United, Liverpool, Newcastle and the Gunners all spending time at the summit. The sale of Silvinho to Celta Vigo in the summer saw Cole installed as the first choice left back and Wenger's go-to guy in the position. He would make 29 appearances in the league and a total of 40 in all competitions. Alongside centre-back Sol Campbell, who joined on a Bosman in the summer from bitter rival Spurs, Cole was a key part in ensuring that Arsenal ended the season with the second best defensive record in the league, as they conceded just 36 times, 6 times less than Liverpool, who conceded only 30 and had the best backline in the league. Cole's extremely clutch defensive instincts, which he would come to be famous for, started to become apparent during this season, his goal line clearance against Liverpool being a good example of this. His considerable attacking prowess was also allowed to flourish under Wenger, who gave his team positional and creative freedom, and a Gunner side stuffed with imaginative forwards and generational talents like Henry, Bergkamp, Ljungberg, Vieira and Pires. It's a testament to the young Cole's immense talents that he stood out and started to establish himself as a firm fan favourite. Arsenal would find themselves third and 3 points behind leaders Man United in February, the month where they would also drop their last points of the season in a draw with Southampton. They would hit absolute top form after that and win all 13 of their remaining games, brilliantly sealing the title against fierce rivals Man United at Old Trafford, 1 week after beating Chelsea to win the FA Cup. This was Arsenal's second double in 4 years under Wenger and the first silverware of Ashley Cole's career at the age of 21. The season after that, Arsenal failed to retain their Premier League title, as despite heading into March with an 8-point lead over Manchester United, they somehow managed to blow it, with a series of disappointing draws to finish 5 points behind the Red Devils in second. They did, however, manage to win the FA Cup for the second year in a row. For Cole, this was perhaps the season when you could say that his defending skills came to the fore and started to get noticed as much as his enticing contributions in the final third. The draw against Spurs at White Hart Lane typified this, as in an absolutely imperious and impassable display, he kept the scoreline in sight for the Gunners, with 2 first-half goal line clearances to ensure his team stayed only a goal behind. It was displays like this that saw Cole recognised as a complete left-back who could be relied on at both ends of the pitch. The 2003-2004 season of the Premier League saw Cole and his teammates play their way into the history books, scorch their image into the footballing consciousness forever, and achieve true immortality by going the whole league campaign unbeaten.
The most glorious season that any Arsenal fan, I'm sure, can remember. They are unbeaten. Hail the history men. Not one side could defeat them in 38 games. As long as football is played in England, they will remember what Arsenal have done this campaign.
Now, there's hours and hours and pages of content out there on the Invincibles team and their achievements, so I'm not going to go into it too much here. After that season, there could be no doubt that Cole was the best left back in England, and a convincing argument could be made that he was the best in the world even then. During the celebrations at Highbury, following their 2-1 victory over Leicester to seal unbeaten status, Cole said this: "I'm so happy it's not true. Nothing, but nothing could possibly go wrong." Obviously, he didn't knock on wood after this, as things did indeed start to go south. His outstanding performances for club and country saw his stock begin to rise exponentially, and of course others were stealing hungry glances over to Highbury with the news that contract extension talks with the player were not progressing smoothly. Things got very controversial and indeed illegal following a meeting on 27th of January 2005. We will never truly know what happened, but Cole's version of events goes something like this. He was meeting with his agent Jonathan Barnett and Israeli agent Pini Zahavi, who worked with Chelsea to make the first deals of the Abramovich era happen. Cole said that the purpose of the meeting was to discuss his options for life after Arsenal, as a pay rise more in keeping with Cole's growing reputation was not forthcoming. According to Ashley, Chelsea manager Jose Mourinho and chief executive Peter Kenyon walked in by accident. He later said this of the incident: "I can only speak about what was said and not said while I was in the room." And in those 15 to 20 minutes, the chit-chat never strayed anywhere near what could be considered an approach by Chelsea. Not once was there anything mentioned about figures, transfers, further meetings, or even leaving Arsenal. This was not the findings of a Premier League hearing, and tapping up was adjudged to have happened. This is where a move for a player to a new club is discussed, while that player is still under long-term contract. Cole and Mourinho were fined £75,000 each, and Chelsea £300,000, while Cole's agent Barnett was fined £100,000 and had his licence revoked for a minimum of 11 months. Not long after, Cole signed a 1-year extension, but this was the equivalent of taking a paracetamol for a gunshot wound. The troubles between Arsenal and Cole were seemingly irreparable, and one of English football's bitterest and most protracted transfer sagas was about to reach a messy climax. Cole wanted a new contract worth £60,000 a week, and he was only being offered £55,000. He would later say this in his autobiography: "I nearly swerved off the road. David Dine is taking the piss, Jonathan." I yelled down the phone. I was so incensed. I was trembling with anger. I couldn't believe what I'd heard. I suppose it all started to fall apart from me from then on, and so it was, as game time started to be hard to come by for Ashley. In August 2006, on transfer deadline day, Cole was sold to Chelsea for £5 million plus French defender William Gallas. Cole signed a contract worth £90,000, leading to him being dubbed Cashley by the formerly adoring Arsenal fans, who waved fake £10 notes in his face on Arsenal's first visit to Stamford Bridge without Cole. Ashley insisted it wasn't about the money. Probably some of you think I'm a greedy pig, but I know full well that I'm not a greedy person. I've not come here for money. I've come here because I want to win things, and I have a good chance of winning things at Chelsea. When you start at a club at such a young age, you do owe the club, and I owe Arsenal for giving me the chance to make it. But hopefully the fans and the manager and everybody will agree I've repaid them a bit. Maybe it's not enough, but there's nothing I can do now. I've moved on and Arsenal's in my past. Cole won the FA Cup in his first season with Chelsea, making 40 appearances in all competitions. Under Mourinho, Cole was asked to play a much more defence-focused role than he had previously enjoyed, where he was almost like a winger, ripping defences to shreds with his buddies Pires and Henry. With Jose, expectation was that Cole would stay back more, tackling, defending and marking. He improved this side of his game even further thanks to the guidance of the special one. Jose Mourinho was sacked just a few games into the 2007-2008 season, much to the disdain of Cole. Replacement Avram Grant would ensure that Chelsea would go the whole season without losing at Stamford Bridge. In March of that season, in a thrilling 4-4 draw with Tottenham, Cole was involved in a contentious and widely debated issue where many pundits and experts believed the left-back should have seen red for a reckless and dangerous tackle on Alan Hutton, for which he only got a yellow. It was also said that by turning his back on the referee in an act interpreted as highly disrespectful, he should have walked for dissent. Grant's mightily impressive home record, however, wasn't enough to add any silverware to the cabinet, which his cardinal said number 1 for Abramovich, so Grant was given the boot, replaced by Luis Felipe Scolari. Under the Brazilian, Cole's lethal attacking threat would once again be harnessed as the shackles placed on him by Mourinho and Grant were ripped off, and he was once again encouraged to run riot in the final third. However, Scolari would be yet another manager who fell victim to Abramovich's ruthlessness, paying the price for a disappointing run of form and getting the axe in February, with interim manager Gus Hiddink taking the wheel. Chelsea would finish third in the Premier League, however they won the FA Cup, beating Everton 2-1 in the final. Cole would be recognised for his consistently excellent performances by being voted as Chelsea's Players' Player of the Year. Carlo Ancelotti would take the reins as manager in summer 2009, astonishingly the 5th manager Cole had had in only 3 years at the club. In the Italians' first season, Cole would win his first Premier League title with Chelsea, and they would retain the FA Cup for the first time in the club's history, which was also the first time they had achieved a league and cup double. However, this was the second time that Cole had personally managed the feat. The following season, Cole would play in every single one of Chelsea's 38 Premier League matches, receiving the Players' Player of the Year award for the second time. Ancelotti was unable to recreate the success of his maiden season and guided the team to a trophyless campaign, which, as we know, meant the chop from Abramovich. Portuguese manager Andre Villas-Boas was appointed as head coach, but he would only last until March 2012, as Chelsea were struggling in the league. His replacement, Roberto Di Matteo, would take Chelsea on a spectacular and logic-defying run to the Champions League final. Cole was instrumental in how Chelsea upset the odds, again using his clutch superpowers to make two vital goal line clearances. The first one coming in Chelsea's 3-1 first leg defeat to Napoli in the round of 16, and the second coming in Chelsea's narrow 1-0 first leg semi-final victory against Barcelona, a match which 99 times out of 100 Barca would have won 5-0. Without these two crucial interventions, Chelsea would have been dumped out of the competition, as Chelsea sealed aggregate victories on both occasions. Cole gave an outstanding 9 out of 10 defensive performance against Bayern in the final, making several important blocks, also converting his spot kick as Chelsea went on to win on penalties, and Cole finally got his hands on the much coveted Champions League trophy, after tasting bitter and disappointing final defeats in 2006 with Arsenal against Barca, and in truly heartbreaking fashion in 2008 with Chelsea against Manchester United. For Cole, this was real vindication of his decision to swap Arsenal for Chelsea.
Now no one can say nothing to me. This is the reason I come here.
And proof that he had done so because of his ambition and drive, and not for his love of money. Cole got his hands on the FA Cup again that year, lifting it for the 7th time, which is still the most FA Cup winners' medals that any one player has achieved in Premier League history. The next year, Chelsea and Cole would win the Europa League, beating Benfica 2-1 in the final. This would be the last silverware he would win with the club, as he would feature less over the coming seasons, with Cesar Azpilicueta being favoured in the left-back position, before his contract expired on June 2014. Ashley Cole is a bona fide Chelsea legend, playing 338 times for the Stamford Bridge outfit and scoring 7 goals. On the 24th of June 2004, Cole put in an excellent performance for England in the quarter-finals of the Euros, most notably dealing expertly with the normally irrepressible Cristiano Ronaldo. England would ultimately lose on penalties and be dumped out, but he was named in the official All-Star squad for the tournament. Cole was a mainstay for his country throughout the best years of his career, becoming England's most capped left-back ever with 107 appearances for the national team in the position. After Chelsea, Cole would have stints with Roma and LA Galaxy, before ending his career with Derby. Cole retired from football in August 2019. For me, Ashley Cole is the best left back the Premier League has ever seen, and he should be considered as one of the finest that the world has ever seen. Indeed, I believe he was the best in the world at points in his career. Ashley Cole, however, is a hated figure among many football fans, which is perhaps why he doesn't get the respect he deserves. His ugly transfer saga to Chelsea led people to believe he was driven by money alone, although his claim that he made the move for his career holds water when you consider what he won with them. Several dangerous tackles and some insolence towards officials and others left Ashley labelled as being a dirty and mean player, something which his coaches and himself vehemently denied. I also don't think that's true. He's just a full throttle type player who gives his all in every match. His numerous off-field indiscretions and well-publicised exploits also led to him being disliked and thought of as being a smug, smarmy character with loose morals, although I want this video to be about Ashley's sporting life and not so much about the other stuff, which is why I haven't really covered it. To sum up, Cole is one of my favourite ever players, and I loved watching him play when I was growing up. His fearless attacking combined with relentless defending made him a real joy to watch. Maybe Cristiano Ronaldo's feelings of Cole sum it up best. Over the years, I had some great battles with Ashley Cole. He does not give you a second to breathe. He was such a tenacious player when he was at his peak. Quick, tough in the tackle. You knew it would never be an easy game.